Today I worked at Wegmans from 11:30 in the morning to 8 p.m. And after my shift, my dad picked me up and took me to my mom's place. And we walked to me and my mom to the town hall plaza, where an old-fashioned 4th of July celebration was being held. There was a live band performance by Russell Spaceship, which was enjoyable to listen to. There were food trucks, some good variety. I recall there were roughly a dozen food trucks in total. Though I was only interested in the Mac Rollin food truck, from which I got in order of Maryland crab, Mac. When me and my mom walked over to the town hall plaza, I brought with me a collectible Kona ice cup. I got when there were last food trucks. During an event on the town hall plaza. back in early June, roughly a month ago. From today. The line for Mac Rollin was short. Just a few people. In front of me and my mom. And there had to be hundreds of people on the town hall plaza. For the old-fashioned 4th of July celebration. For the refill of shaved ice for my collectible Kona ice cup, I got just pina colada flavoring. Though the color of that flavoring wasn't what I expected. Based on how it was presented, from the flavor master section of the Kona ice truck, or where everyone who gets shaved ice adds flavoring themselves. I was expecting the pina colada flavoring to be a very light teal. Or blue. I was drawn to the pina colada flavoring as I recall pina coladas being delicious and enjoying them. During the few times where I had something pina colada flavored. Usually a drink made from what's used to make a pina colada. And for me, seeing the pina colada flavoring being offered was a new experience for me, as I didn't recall seeing that pina colada flavoring option back in early June when the food trucks were last at the Town Hall Plaza, or really any time I saw a Kona Ice truck at an event, either on the Town Hall Plaza or at a school. Or at least one time when I happened to see a Kona Ice truck on the parking lot of me and my mom's local Wegmans, and there was no event going on, but I just happened to see a Kona Ice truck, and so decided to get some shaved ice at that time. Surprisingly, the pina colada flavoring was medium blue colored. Though it did in a way taste like pina colada. I decided to get just pure pina colada flavoring and not mix it with any other flavoring. I did my usual of getting flavoring until I could see the liquid under the shaved ice in my Kona Ice cup. I recall me and my mom were on the Town Hall Plaza roughly from about 8:30 p.m. to about 9:45 p.m. And then me and my mom walked back to her place, from which me and my mom sat in two of those collapsible lawn chairs that are mostly made out of fabric and have two mesh drink holders, one on each arm of the lawn chair. We sat on our lawn and watched the fireworks, which were roughly from around 9:50 p.m. to 10:20 p.m. Thankfully, there were no mosquitoes while me and my mom were on the town hall plaza, though I ended up getting some mosquito bites. While taking pictures of the fireworks for the photo part, and having a goat beer while doing so. One of the mosquito bites was on one of my temples, one of the sides of my head. And I recall getting a mosquito bite on my left thigh too. But it was worth it. I think I got some good pictures of the fireworks. I succeeded in showing the kinds of fireworks that were used during the fireworks show for the old-fashioned 4th of July celebration. Though I recall the very first photo of fireworks, it wasn't from the fireworks show, but was a private firework being set off. During my shift at Wegmans, working in the produce department, I primarily restocked the banana section and hard items section, which is right in front of the banana section, that section being at the very back of the produce department. So the hard items section isn't at the very back of the produce department, but still pretty close. And the hard items section is essentially just varieties of onions and potatoes. I took my first 15-minute break around 3:30 p.m. And it was around that time that I restocked the mushrooms section of the produce department, which is more towards the middle of the whole produce department. I restocked that section both before and after I took my first 15-minute break. And in total, it took me about an hour or so to restock everything I could from the mushroom runner. I took my 30-minute lunch roughly from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., during which I had a Caesar salad pre-made by Wegmans, though my mom added chicken to it before we left for Wegmans around 11 in the morning. Around 10 in the morning, I recall having a cup of plain coffee with some scrambled eggs, which were both prepared for me by my mom. With the Caesar salad, for lunch, I had a 16-ounce bottle of Upstate Farms branded whole milk and a small aluminum can of original V8. Vegetable juice. My mom packed that in a beige-colored plastic bag. As my lunch for Wegmans. I took my second and last 15-minute break around 7:30 p.m. Though by that point, we were pretty much done closing the produce department, me and the two male co-workers that closed with me today. One of them technically didn't close today, having a shift that ended at 7 p.m., but he stayed late to help. I recall by around 6:30 p.m. there was little to do, little to restock in the produce department, and there were few customers, whereas at the start of my shift and during the hours before I took my first 15-minute break, there were plenty of customers. Not enough to make the produce department feel crowded, but still significantly more than were there by around 6:30 p.m. And so by 7 p.m., I had partially double stacked the banana section to use up what was left of the banana boxes on the banana runner at the time, and then I reloaded the banana runner with 3 stacks of 4 banana boxes, and then brought that banana runner out on the floor or the produce department itself, just so it would be ready. And I spent the remaining time on my shift looking without much success for product within the produce department I could restock, and making conversation with one of the male co-workers of two male co-workers that closed the produce department with me today. I recall at one point during my shift, during the early afternoon hours, I banded the bunches of celery that were out on the floor of the produce department without restocking bunches of celery. As I noticed that the bunches of celery that were out on the floor hadn't been banded, and I wasn't too busy at that time. I recall that took me roughly 10 minutes. And during the first hours of today, I had some original shrimp chips, finishing a bag I had opened during an earlier day. And I also had some chocolate, which included a Build-A-Santa Hershey's chocolate bar, which I had a bit of fun with. I recall while I was out celebrating the 4th of July, it was warm and somewhat humid, but not horribly so, and it was overcast. I enjoyed experiencing the sunset while I was out on the town hall plaza. I also got a mosquito bite on this thumb, though no swelling occurred from it, at least no swelling that was noticeable visually. I got the mosquito bite on the front part of my thumb, though again, it's not really noticeable unless I try to bend my thumb, in which case it probably has a very slight impairment on the range of motion on my thumb. And that mosquito bite I got on the side of my head, I got it on the left side of my head.